And welcome to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by my co-host, Rick Unger. That was Governor Scott Walker announcing his candidacy for the presidency. The 15th, Rick, to jump in from the GOP side. No
Only
surprise
15.
there. Only 15,
Yeah,
16 coming with John Kasich
I'm
next
shocked,
week.
man. Who saw this one coming?
Right?
Yeah.
What'd you think of the speech?
I thought the speech was given it was good. I thought what was contained in the speech was not quite as good. A lot of, I want to be kind. He just started today, but there was a lot of nonsense in there. He focused a great deal on his success as a jobs governor in Wisconsin, and the fact of the matter is, the facts bear out the fact that he's been an absolutely abysmal jobs governor in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is pulling the rear up. I don't want to say that they're 50th in the nation, but they're very, very close to that in jobs created since he took over the State House. I don't know how you run making a speech like that when the facts so definitely bear out a different story, but I guess you count on the fact that people won't check.
Yep. The bigger general story, I would imagine, is that he won 3 times in a very blue state, a state where Paul Ryan, as a congressman, ran on the 2012 ticket, and they still lost by 7 points. So
yeah, it's always amazing when they make that argument. I guess you can give them credit for that, but if they were so blue, they wouldn't have voted for Scott Walker. The reality is, Wisconsin, has a long history of going the way that they go. I mean, let's face it.
Well, they haven't voted for Republicans since 1984 in the presidential.
Well,
race,
no,
so
not
it is
the
a blue
presidential.
state.
But the reality is, they never liked his opposition. And by the way, he ran against the same person in the recall that he ran against in the original election, the mayor of Milwaukee, who has never been a popular figure in that state. Nobody really gave him much chance of winning in the recall. Put him up against a more formidable candidate, we all wonder what would have happened, and put him up against real data. We're going to show a piece later, I think, when we discuss this some more, about a piece that I wrote back in 2012 where I accused Governor Walker of completely fudging the jobs data. And it turned out he did it right before the recall. He got away with it, and we later found out that, in fact, he had indeed fudged the job data. This isn't my idea of somebody I want to be president. I have to be honest. It's no secret that I'm not a big fan of Scott Walker. It has nothing to do with whether or not he finished college. I couldn't care less. Barry Goldwater didn't finish college, and nobody ever accused him of being a dummy. He, in my estimation, he's not up to the job, and we've seen that time and time again. If you're paying attention,
Heather, despite what Rick said, he is leading in Iowa in 2 different polls by 8 points, 6
like
points.
Michelle Bachmann was.
Just like Michelle Bachmann, the man makes a point. Would you say that he has the best chance to win the nomination right now, given that he's only 47 years old, he has won in a blue state like we talked about, and he does bring an energy? I didn't see a teleprompter there. I saw a guy who was going off the cuff. Maybe Trump, the Trump effect is now spreading, where you just say whatever's on your mind and don't look scripted, look authentic. He is very formidable, isn't he?
He certainly is, and he's very conservative. Jeb Bush also gave a similar speech, also gave it off the cuff, but I think that Scott Walker has the conservative credentials and things that he can look back at. He spoke to it today, how to get welfare in Wisconsin now you need to take a drug test. He is pro-life. There are a lot of things, he's anti-gay marriage. There's a lot of things that for staunch conservatives he brings to the table that people like Jeb Bush and some of the more middle of the road people who are on that 15 number that we are looking at don't bring to the table.
Could I just pour in here? He was heavily anti-gay marriage in the Supreme Court decision until his wife and kids went public with their disappointment of him, and then he softened his opinion dramatically.
Well, he's listening to his family.
There's a guy who's got the courage of his convictions, baby.
Brad, his approval rating in Wisconsin is hovering around 40%, and we saw with Bobby Jindal his approval rating is some of that what Rick talked about before, that maybe isn't the job creator that he made himself out to be, or is more because he goes onto a national stage and then the state feels abandoned because they just feel like they're being used as a springboard for bigger things for his own
That's
reasons.
exactly why it's happening. Maybe in part because what Rick is saying. Well, that goes back to 2012. So at the very least, we're going to have to understand it's happening for Jindal, it's happened for Christie, it's happening for him. We know for 2 reasons. People who were opposed to these candidates when they were statewide candidates are especially angry because now they think they're going to go national. So they're deeply resentful and score out even greater levels of disapproval. Those who approve of them want to keep them close and resent that they're going far afield.
There's something rather dramatic that you're missing in putting it on that reason. Every single governor you just named has proven to be a severe disappointment in their state. Bobby Jindal is now presiding over an absolute mess. Even the Republicans acknowledge it. Chris Christie ended up with one of the biggest budget messes in the entire country. Now his state knows it. They are able to keep it hidden in their first
But it turns
re-election.
out they're not the only ones. This is going on a bunch.
But that's why they're not popular. You don't see Jeb Bush having that problem from his days as governor in Florida.
Let's do a lightning round real quick as we're down to
successful.
30 seconds. Does he win the nomination? Brad Hirschfeld.
I don't know, but I know this. He is the most electable, deeply conservative candidate out there.
Heather?
Nomination, I think he's the top runner.
Okay.
He does not win the nomination. Not
Jeb
a
Bush.
chance. Jeb
You're
Bush
sticking
wins
by
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about this during the show in just a couple of moments. But we did come on a little early tonight after the speech. So thanks for coming here early with us. And now, here's the real Daily Wrap.